Hi, and welcome to week one of Metabolic Health. I am Mary Jo McGuire, a registered nutritionist with Food Choice. And for this week's topic, I'm going to be discussing metabolic health and helping you understand what metabolic health means. So before we begin, we'll get into who and what Food Choice are. We are a team of accredited nutritionists and we are registered nutritionists and dietitians. We develop evidence-based and complete nutritional health programs for employees. We're in partnership with Irish Life. Food Choice support employees to improve their dietary behaviours. So we know that healthy dietary patterns can reduce our risk of developing heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers. And it also helps the way we look and feel. So we offer digital personalized nutrition consultations, research-led guidance and around nutrition via webinars, on-site sessions, recipes, and key messages. And we improve making improvements in nutrition profile for food offerings and menu labeling. So I am a registered nutritionist with Food Choice now, and I specialize in women's health and hormones. I really commit to empowering individuals through compassionate and evidence-based practices and help them to make and feel better around their food and lifestyle choices. I also have a great interest in metabolic health, hormonal health, and helping people feel their best overall. And a quick disclaimer before we get into the topic, Food Choice are committed to supporting you and to improve your nutritional health and well-being. Our group nutrition sessions aim to provide high quality evidence-based information. Our content and recommendations are for the general population and do not address specific individual requirements. This training is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. And if you do have any concerns or questions about your nutritional health, please consult with a qualified professional. Okay, so let's get into things. What is on today's agenda? We're going to talk about what is metabolism, the connection metabolism has to health, the key markers, key influences of metabolism, and there will be a challenge as well at the end, which is movement, and we'll discuss how that connects to metabolic health as well. Okay, so what is metabolic health? Firstly, it is metabolic health or metabolism. You may have heard of this before, and you might wonder what it actually means. It really is how our body processes and food for energy and utilizes that food that we eat for energy. And the more efficient that process is, the better our metabolic health is. The purpose of this is to power all essential body functions. I like to think of it as our engine room. So our metabolism is the fuel tank, so to speak, or our engine room, and how it fuels every essential function in our body. So there are two main types of metabolism. So we have firstly catabolism, and this is where we break down food into energy. And then we have anabolism. So this builds and repairs cells using that energy that we have broken down from the food. So we can see the connection here with food. We use food for fuel. Our body then efficiently utilizes this food and processes it. And then that breakdown of energy is then used to build up and repair our cells. And the more efficient this is, the healthier we will be. So our basal metabolic rate, or BMR, you may have heard this before. This is the minimal amount of energy that your body needs in order to function at rest. So just for you to sleep, breathe, be be a person, this is the minimum amount of energy that you require. So, how energy is produced, the metabolism transforms food into what's called ATP. This is like your body's energy currency. That is the form or the unit of energy that the body uses. And in terms of what metabolic health does and in the connection to health, it helps to maintain stable blood sugar. It keeps a stable blood pressure, cholesterol as well. It keeps that stable and it keeps your weight in a healthy range also. So let's go through now the connection to health in a little bit more detail. So metabolism is also how the body manages energy efficiently. So when it comes to energy storage, it regulates how the body stores energy as fat or glycogen, aiming for balanced storage for future use. So It'll store it as fat if it's in excess or how it perceives the body state to be in. Glycogen then is also the body's storage of carbohydrates. And again, we want to keep those carbohydrates for maybe later down the line when maybe we need extra energy for exercise, for example. Energy distribution, then, this ensures efficient distribution to all of the different organs and systems based on the needs of the body. Hormone balance. So it helps to manage hormones, ensuring the body efficiently produces, regulates, and responds to hormones. So there is this interplay between insulin and cortisol. So insulin is a key part of metabolic health. This helps to bring the fuel that we eat from food into our cells for to be then converted to energy. Cortisol is also an important hormone that helps to regulate and stabilize our blood sugars whenever they get a bit low. And then cell repair and growth. The metabolic processes use energy to repair cells and tissues for optimal function. So good metabolic health, excuse me, looks like this. You have maintained a good steady energy levels throughout the day. It helps you would have supports brain function and productivity. It reduces the risk of conditions like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, and it improves sleep, mood, and focus. So you're probably thinking this is just general health, really. So it is true. If you have good metabolic health, you'll feel good overall. So it's really important that we're overall metabolically healthy. You will know this if you're not through various messages, and we'll go through that as well. So here are some of the messages or how you might realize you don't have good metabolic health. So you'll get energy crashes throughout the day. You might experience brain fog. You might have weight gain, particularly around the midline area, and you also might experience a lot of sugar cravings. So here are some key markers of metabolic health and what we want to be checking to make sure that we're metabolically healthy. So firstly is waist circumference. A healthy waist size does indicate lower levels of abdominal fat. So again, I spoke about the midline area. This is kind of a key area of to look at when you're considering metabolic health. So if we have a healthy waist circumference, this does reduce the risk of heart disease and other metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes. So it is under 88 millimeters for women and 102 millimeters for men. Blood sugar stability is also another key marker in order to check if you're metabolically healthy. So healthy blood sugars prevent energy spikes and crashes, and it also lowers the risk of diabetes. So it's very important that your blood sugars are, not too high. So 5.6 nanomoles per liter is the range, the level we don't want to get above in order to have good blood sugar levels. Cholesterol balance. So balancing good and bad cholesterol supports health as well. So if we have too much bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, this can build up plaque in the arteries, causing constriction and can increase the risk of heart disease. And then good cholesterol, we do want to have more of this, so more than 1.3 nanomoles per liter of HDL cholesterol. This is also thought to be really good for improving your overall heart profile. And healthy blood pressure, then maintaining a normal blood pressure protects the heart and arteries, again, lowering the risk of heart disease and stroke. So some of the influences around metabolic health include genetics. Um, it does, you can see this through families, through a family history. If you do have a history of not being able to burn calories as efficiently as others, this can make it harder to lose weight, as an example. So it does come down to genetics, of course, so that your ability to process and burn calories. Age as well. As we get older, metabolism slows down. So we have decreased muscle mass, and higher muscle mass actually helps us to burn more muscle at rest, or sorry, burn more calories at rest. So this is why certain types of exercise, such as resistance training, which is when you're building up your muscle, really helps to increase your metabolic health. You burn more calories at rest, and it really is a key marker of, I suppose, long-term health. So resistance training is really helpful, especially as we age. So if we do it from a young age, as we get older, it will improve our metabolic health. But it's still really important to do even when we are older to maintain that muscle mass as much as we can. So muscle mass literally is burns more calories at rest than fat. So this is a really important aspect of metabolic health. Lifestyle as well, and this is a key part as well that we'll talk about in the next session. But activity levels, higher activity levels boost metabolism, your nutrition. So if we're eating better, you'll have a better metabolic profile. So good food supports a healthy metabolism and supports efficient energy use. What you eat will make a huge contribution to your weight, your blood sugars, your cholesterol levels, your ability to store and burn energy. So when we're talking about the lifestyle factors, um, certain like nutrition kind of habits will not support a healthy metabolism. So high sugar, high fat, and ultra processed foods will really impact blood sugar, inflammation, heart health, and overall metabolic health. So this is the type of diet we want to kind of have at a minimum and steer away from. And that's not the kind of diet that supports a healthy metabolism. Whereas, and same with movement, a sedentary lifestyle has been shown to worsen glucose processing and insulin resistance. So lack of movement, sitting at a desk all day, coming home in the evening and sitting down really does worsen metabolic health and increases things like blood sugar levels, weight gain, and things like that. And sleep and stress. So poor sleep and high stress can impact hormones that control your appetite and blood sugar control. So these are areas that are important not to neglect in your overall quality of life as well, making sure you're getting good quality of sleep and managing your stress levels. And then the timing of eating. So irregular eating patterns, late night eating, these can really impact the hormones that are involved in metabolic health, like insulin. So the first step that we're going to work on as part of our metabolic health program is movement. So why is movement? Again, I have kind of touched on it, but movement really helps to support metabolic processes. It helps to increase insulin sensitivity and glucose uptake into cells. This is really, really essential because when we break down food, it's insulin's job to bring the food into the cells. But if the food doesn't get into the cells to be converted to energy, this can lead to a host of metabolic issues like fat storage, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes. So we really want to make sure that we're uptaking that glucose into the cells to be converted to energy. It has to improve digestion, so movement can aid digestion and support metabolic health. If we're not digesting our food properly, we're not going to be metabolically healthy. It also helps to boost energy levels. So it helps to support that energy conversion processes, which leads to better mental clarity and physical energy. And also it's free. So you can fit this into your workday, 10 minutes after lunch. It's low effort and high impact. So the goals then is to add a 10-minute walk after one meal each day. This is really effective for helping with the glucose uptake into cells. So anytime you can get a walk in after a meal, you are helping literally break down that food and moving the food into the cells for energy. This massively helps with high blood sugar levels, risk of type 2 diabetes, fat storage around the midline. So it's a really easy and effective way to support your metabolic health. So that's the challenge for this week to add a 10-minute walk after a meal and try and track your steps as well to see what you're currently reaching at the moment. And whatever you're on, say you're on 6,000 on average a week, increase that by 2,000 more by a day by the end of the week. So really working on adding 2,000 extra steps to your day to boost your metabolism, to support the energy conversion process, and to reduce your risk of any other metabolic health issues down the line. So key takeaways, metabolism and the connection to health. So we looked at the key markers, the key influences, and your first step for this week is movement. So give movement a go, get a walk in, for 10 minutes after a meal, and if possible, really work on increasing your steps by 2,000 a day to really help boost that metabolic health profile. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back next week with another topic.